Guys, how you doing? How you doing? I'm a little busy. I just played a serious tennis match outside. How you guys practicing? I'm Coach Murphy at the Castles. Everybody come on in. All parents, come on in. Everybody come on in. So, I'm Jack Schore.
Hey, Jack.
Really good to have everybody out here. This guy was 14 years old. His mom brought him to Washington to practice with us. He slept on my couch. I never thought that I would be having a 14-year-old who was the French Open champion, who was a great coach, and probably one of the top 2 or 3 ambassadors. I put him, Billie Jean King and Murphy Jensen, 2 best ambassadors for tennis in the world today. Okay? The 2 best. So it's personally my great appreciation for Murphy to have him here, and I'm proud to say that he's here, and he would love to speak to you guys. Murphy Jensen.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great!
That's what I'm talking about. I guess this is the #1 group at the TennisPlex. And I was outside, I said, how you doing? They're like, good. You know, you should be great. You get to play a great game of tennis. You know, I get the opportunity today not only to play the game of tennis, but I get the opportunity to coach the game of tennis. Has anyone ever heard of Venus and Serena Williams? Well, I get to coach the Williams sisters in world team tennis. Has anyone heard of the Washington Castles? What do you know about the Washington Castles? Are they any good? How good are they? Well, they're pretty good. Well, I have a philosophy. If we win, it's because of the coach. If we lose, it's the player's fault. But we've got a great team. In the last 4 out of 5 years, the Washington Castles have won the World Team Tennis Championships 4 out of 5 times. They have the longest winning streak in the history, not in tennis, in all of professional sports, with 34 consecutive victories. Yes! And how we did that was we had a culture. We set in place a culture that, as a team, tennis is a tricky sport, because usually you're playing as an individual, unless you're playing doubles, right? But in world team tennis, you're playing as a team. In our culture, we tried to enhance or develop was a culture that protected one another, played for one another, played for the tennis fans. Now, I'll tell you, what are you guys doing right now? Are you guys practicing?
Yes.
What's the most important ingredient to becoming a good tennis player?
Eyes on the ball.
Eyes on the ball, that is a good answer. It's focus, yeah? Consistency, absolutely. Accuracy, all good answers. But the most important component to becoming a good tennis player, yes?
Is the toss on the serve.
The toss on the serve, these are all great. These are all little pieces to the puzzle, right? The most important thing is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice is everything in the game of tennis. And how you practice is even more important. It's not what you practice, it's how you practice. The intensity of your practice, your attitude at your practice, the effort at your practice. The best players in the world are the ones that are the learners. They're always seeking knowledge. They're trying to do things a little bit better than they've ever been done before. Roger Federer became the Picasso of tennis. He became the greatest tennis player that ever held the game of the racket in his hand in the history of the world. Ever! And that was his dream, to be the best tennis player that has ever picked up a tennis racket in the history of the world. That's a pretty big goal, right? How do you think he got there? Practice, 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 practice. And how were his practices? Pete used to tell me, I love to compete. He loved competition. Compete, compete, compete. But he didn't look at competition as against like Roger against Rafa. He looked at competition Roger against Roger. Roger looked at competition that every single day since the time he was 5 years old, he sought to be the best player in the history of the game. He sought to be the best he could possibly be every single day. Now that attitude may have taken him to be a good high school player, to be a good college player. But he seeks that in every area of his life. He seeks to be the best human being every single day. He seeks to be the best husband and father every single day. Think about that. That takes some effort, and that takes a good attitude, right? And I challenge you to be the best tennis players and the best kids you can absolutely possibly be. And how do you do that? Well, number one, practice, right? And you make sure you thank your teachers and your coaches and your parents and your mentors. There's no greater gift in the world than the gift of opportunity. And if you're standing here today, you've been given an amazing gift. You've been given the opportunity to become tennis players today. Just today. And what you do today or tomorrow and the next day. You don't want to play today's tennis game. You want to play tomorrow's tennis game. Roger Federer was thinking 50. He's like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was a computer guy, right? And the world said, hey, are you worried about this iPhone? You know, they asked BlackBerry, are you worried about Apple computers making an iPhone? And BlackBerry says, no, they're a computer company. We don't need to worry about them. Where's BlackBerry today? How many people have an iPhone around here? They changed the world. Roger Federer changed the world. And what you learn on the tennis court is going to apply to your life. You know, tennis is all about solving problems. And the better you are in the classroom, the better you're going to be on a tennis court. Because the tennis court is a classroom. If you're running around like a maniac on the tennis court, do you think you're going to have good focus and you think you're going to improve? No. You're going to get bad grades, right? If you have bad grades on the tennis court, why are you going to have good grades on the classroom? They all work together. Be the absolute best you can possibly be at everything you do. Who wants to do that? Right? Who wants to be like change the world and make history in your life? It's pretty cool, right? Our family dream, growing up on the Christmas tree farm in northern Michigan, was just to play tennis. The next thing you know, my brother and I are winning the French Open as a family. It was unbelievable. And we had no indoor tennis courts. We had to shovel the snow off the tennis court. But for me, playing tennis was not a right. It was a privilege. If you get an opportunity like you have today to play tennis, you got parents that are supporting you and coaches that believe in you, this is a privilege to play tennis. Take advantage of this beautiful privilege. Enjoy your Sunday. Be the best you can be, right? Any questions? None?
Coach, I have a question for you. Actually, I have a surprise for you. They're gonna give you a tip for your team, to coach your team.
A tip for the team?
Yes, sir.
I need it.
Okay, which one is the 5 elements that can instruct you like good tennis player? First one, consistency. Second one,
Placement.
Third one,
Power.
depth. Fourth one, speed. And the last one, power.
No, it's always last. Power is the last one. Consistency is the key. Consistency wins. You know what I tell Serena Williams? I tell her, number one, if you win tonight, I'll take you to McDonald's. She says, that's it? I go, that's all I can afford. But honestly, we keep it really simple on the tennis court. This game belongs to the players that put the ball over the net and in the court one more time than their opponent. When we were trying to break the record, Venus Williams was playing the final match against Coco Vanderway. She's down match points. She was really, really nervous. You know how she played? Was she going for winners and aiming for the lines? No, man. She was just putting the ball over. She was just like making sure she didn't miss. And to be good at this, you have to be consistent. But not just consistent with your play. Be consistent with your practice. You got to show up every day. What time does practice start for you guys usually? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock practice starts? In my world, practice starts at 1:45. I'm there early. I'm stretching out. I'm getting ready. I'm making sure my grip is right. I'm practicing some serves. What time does practice end for everybody? 4 o'clock? For me, it would be 4:30. I'm going to stay a little longer, serve some balls. See if the coaches can help me with whatever I'm struggling with. Right? Think about that. That little extra, those little inches and millimeters really add up. If you improve 1% a day, over the course of the year, you improve 365%. And you know how you improve? Does anyone know how you improve? Being consistent, sure. You know how you improve? By giving it 100%. If you only give me a 50% effort, you don't get a 50% return. The only chance to improve even 1% is to give 100% effort. Because mediocrity is no fun. Personal greatness and extreme achievement, that's where life gets interesting. Jack Schore, I'm sleeping on his couch when I'm 14 years old because he gave me an opportunity. He saw my brother and I at a tournament, and I'm from Michigan. I would fly here because he had better players and better competition for me. And he says, hey man, you can sleep on my couch. And then he didn't realize, he says, Murphy, I'm at the club. He didn't know I was only 14. And he says, can you drive my car to the club? I'm like, I guess I can. I don't know how to drive. He says, take the keys. I get to the car. It was a Porsche. A red Porsche. I'm 14 years old driving around Jacksonville. He could be arrested. He said, can you drive stick shift? And I said, sure. Anyway, don't do that. Anyway, well, it's an honor and a privilege to meet all you guys. Any more questions before I have to go off? Or I have to go meet some other goods. Yeah, man. Can I sign your tennis ball? You got it, champion. Awesome. '93 French Open champion. You know what we can do, Josh? Do you want me to do autographs at the end of the exhibition? Are they all going to be there?
Everybody, where's your autographs at the end, okay?
Thank you, everybody.
Coach, can I have a picture with all the kids?